You might be asking yourself today, what's the real reason he's coming back? And let me tell you, it's not love. You think he keeps coming back because he loves you, because he cares about you. But deep down, he realizes how much he cares about himself. Deep down, he cares about what he wants. Because no matter how toxic things got, there's a piece of him that just can't let go of you. So he's going to keep coming back. He's going to keep cycling. There's a lie that you want to believe that is because of love. But what he's actually doing is he's coming back not because he loves you. He's coming back because he owns you. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist to help bring awareness of narcissistic abuse. I speak from what I know of who I've been and how I've shown up, trying to help you see and wake up to the reality of what's going on. The guy that's in your life, he's coming back to you because you are still a source of a supply. You are a person that he can still pull validation and pieces from because you still give it to him. You still give him the validation. You still give him power. You still give him control. And that's some of the pieces that he craves. Because every time he disappears, he knows, hey, you're going to be waiting there. Like you're going to be waiting there for him to come back. Whenever he decides to return, he's like, well, I'll come back and yep, she's still there. And have you noticed it's a cycle? It's a pattern. He keeps coming back because he's trained you to believe that he has potential. That he might actually work out. He might actually show up one day the way that you actually want him. He trained you to attach yourself to the good moments and to just kind of push aside and ignore the bad ones, to ignore the destruction that he actually causes in your life. And the second you start to see through it, the second that you start to regain your strength, the second that you start to notice something's going on, it's almost like he swoops back in to make sure that you stay trapped. The guy that's in your life, he doesn't keep coming back into your life because he loves you. He keeps coming back into your life for control and control only. It's the manipulation cycle. It is why he won't actually let you go. It's why he keeps coming back to this over and over and over. Because every time he leaves, you feel like you can finally breathe. You're like, whew, finally, he's out of my life. Maybe I can work on this. Maybe I can fix myself. Maybe I can heal. And then you start to feel normal again, even just for a moment. You begin to start to regain a sense of who you are and who you were before him. And that's when he senses it. It's almost like a sixth sense of like, wait a second, narc alert, let me go back to this person. Why? Because he knows. He always knows the perfect moment to return, to be able to return to you, to keep you trapped. Literally, it's like a sixth sense. He could feel it with your patterns. He could feel it with what you normally do. He could feel it the length of time. Wait a second, let me come back. And just when you think that you're moving on, you get that text. You get that call. And suddenly out of nowhere, there's a message that he's like, I've been thinking about you, baby. And all of a sudden in that moment, it seems like all the pain, all the anxiety, all the stress just disappears because you've already found, oh, yes, he's back. The guy that I want, the guy that I love. But the problem is you start to lie to yourself. You start to convince yourself that maybe, just maybe, that this time's different. Maybe he's finally realized what he's lost. Maybe he finally realized the mistake that he's made. Maybe he's actually grown. Maybe he's matured. Maybe he's gotten better. Maybe he's changed. You start to wonder, to think, to hope, and to pray. But let's deal with the truth here. He hasn't changed. He's just losing control. And all the tactics that he used to use to keep control of you, he can't. So he has to do something different. He has to come back to make sure that he has you under his thumb. He has to come back to make sure that the bond of the trauma bond keeps you locked in. The real reason he keeps coming back, it's not love. It's not because he cares about you. It's an addiction of control. Control of his image, control of how he is. He needs the hit of it, the hit of control, the hit of your attention, the hit of knowing that no matter what he does, he can still walk back into your life and you swoon over him. You're just like, oh, yep, he's back. You still let him back in. He still does the same cycle over and over and over again. You've been conditioned to crave it. He's trained you to crave it. He's trained you to be addicted to him. The addiction that you feel towards him is the trauma bond. It's a piece inside your mind disconnected, head to heart. You're like, I don't really want him back. Not really. but you want the feeling that he gave you in the beginning. You want the love bombing, you want the passion, you want the validation. You're really sold on the illusion that he is who he used to be, that he was the man that you thought he was. You're sold on that, and you're like, if I could just get that back, if maybe somehow. But he's not that guy. It was just a mask. It was a performance. It was every time that he comes back and he knows exactly how long to stay away, how long to play the role, just long enough to suck you back in and to make sure that you don't actually find freedom. So every time you think that you can spread your wings and fly, he's like, oh, let's come back here. And then he just leaves again. And the cycle continues over and over and over, and you're left questioning, why does he keep leaving? Like, the moment he gets what he wants, maybe it's sex, maybe it's validation, maybe it's control, maybe it's just simply the satisfaction of knowing that he still could do it, that he still owns you, that he's still able to walk in and do it. He's like, I accomplished that, check that box. He starts pulling away. Another girlfriend reached out and he's like, well, let me go that direction. And so he becomes cold, becomes distant, he starts to become critical, and he uses different things. Picking fights, creating chaos, making you feel like you're the problem. Well, I guess we just need to separate, just we need to break up. And just like that, the cycle resets. You go back to square one and you start doing the same exact thing over and over and over again. Because he doesn't want you. He wants to keep you trapped. He doesn't want a partner. He doesn't want a wife. He wants a servant. He wants a slave. He wants someone that he can ring the bell and you come. He wants someone that he can walk back in the door and you still accept him every time, no matter what he's done. And as long as you keep believing that his return actually means something, he'll always still have power over you. As long as you keep thinking, well, at least it means he loves me. No, it means he wants to control you. He actually doesn't care about any piece of love towards you. He just cares about controlling. So let's talk about breaking this. You have to break this cycle. You have to end this control for good. Otherwise, it's going to keep coming back over and over and over. There's not a piece where he's going to stop. He will keep coming back as long as you let him back in. As long as you let him do it, he'll keep doing it. He'll keep reaching out. As long as there's a chance that you respond. This is why you don't just stop responding. You have to block him. Why? Because eventually you'll respond. He knows it. People are like, well, I'll be strong. I'll make sure it'll hurt him. It'll hurt him because he'll text me and then I won't answer. One day you will. I've seen it happen thousands of times. You're not the exception to the rule. One day you will, when you're sad, when you're lonely, when you're tired, when you're distraught, when you're alone on a holiday with nobody there with you. He'll text you and you'll respond. Because it's all a manipulation. It's all a game. He'll keep manipulating. He'll keep love bombing. He'll keep future faking you as long as you still believe in the lie. As long as you still believe in the piece that's there. As long as you still believe the lie that he cares. The only way to truly break that is to close the door for good. To go no contact. To add that buffer, that space, so you can actually heal. So you can actually focus on you. Because if you don't, you'll continue to be triggered. You'll continue to see him. And you'll continue to think, maybe this is the day. Nope. We got to go no contact. Not just one more conversation. Not just let me keep talking to him so I get closure. Let me keep talking to him so I get the money he owes me. No, you need to block him. You need to cut him off. You need to stop looking for all these different things. Stop looking for explanations. He's not going to give them to you. He doesn't give you closure. He's not going to give you closure. He doesn't need to explain himself. You can already see the toxicity that happened, how it affected you. Too many people look for closure for a narcissist. You're not going to get it. You're not going to have it from him. Why? Because he's not honest with you. He's not transparent. He's not actually willing to tell you anything. Which is why you're here. To actually find closure, to actually find an understanding of what you need to do, what you need to know. Baseline here in the side of this conversation, what you need to know is he's toxic. I don't care if he's a narcissist or not. Doesn't matter. What matters is the pattern and the behaviors that keep affecting and hurting you, and the patterns and behaviors that still have never changed. You have to start rebuilding you. Who you are apart from him. Who you are apart from the relationship. The only reason he still has power over you is because he's convinced that no matter what, that your worth is tied to him and you can't go far. He'll pull you right back. But it's not true. It's a lie. It's a lie that you believe. We have to work on helping you rewire that. You don't have to do this alone. There's countless and there's hundreds of women that are fighting for their own freedom. We see this when we bring people into the Thriver community, what I run. Because breaking free isn't just about leaving. Because you could go no contact, and when you go no contact, it still messes with your head. The trauma bond's still there. It's not about leaving, it's about like staying gone. Like how to actually retrain your brain, heal from the trauma so that it no longer affects you. And putting yourself around people who actually see you, who actually hear you, who actually understand you, but also who actually just want you to succeed. Because he never did, which is why he kept coming back. I want you to consider if you're done with the cycle, like if you're ready to finally take back control of your life, this is your next step. You'll see and understand the next step here. I want you to go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. I want you to watch a video of my wife talking about how she was stuck in these cycles, how she didn't know how to be free, and where she is now. Step into that, fill an application for us to be able to have a free call. Let's jump on a call and let's see if this is the right fit for you. Because you need to see, understand, and realize that the truth is he was never afraid of losing you. He was afraid of you realizing that you never even needed him. So as a result, he had to control you. He had to keep you stuck. He had to keep you inside the cycle, coming back to you over and over and over again. So he could feel powerful, so he could feel in control. You've been told it's all your fault, and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you, and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times, and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough, schedule a call there, and let's talk.